Hey, what's up everybody? I am here in a new studio in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I finally got this place done. It's been a while since I posted a video and I've got a fun one for you all today. So long story short, I've been experimenting a lot with electronic drums lately. I did those Elisa Strata Prime videos, which is the kit I'm on today, and I had a lot of fun with that. And recently, Bogren Digital reached out to me and were like, hey, we got this new Trivium drums coming out. Can you make a video on it? And I was like, sure, but let me make a video that is helpful and kind of teaches a cool tactic as well, because when you get an E-kit, a lot of times you don't have the money to buy a super expensive E-kit with really high-end samples in it. This kit right here is not super expensive, but it is on the higher end and it does have good samples in it. So I went to Sweetwater and I wanted to do that demonstration I did at the beginning of the video to show you what it's like when you have more of a cheaper E-kit and how big of a difference proper samples can make. And so I'm going to tell you all about the Trivium drums package today and also about the idea of using samples to level up your E-kit. So let's get started. All right, let's see what this is all about. All right, so now that you've heard just how great these Trivium drums sound on a cheap kit and on a nicer E-kit here, let me tell you about what makes them special. Now, samples, the key to them is how they were recorded, and the Trivium drums samples were recorded at the incredible Fascination Street Studios, which has 23-foot high ceilings. So it's got a massive drum room. Some of the top tier metal bands have recorded at this exact studio, and they just have unlimited awesome gear there. So basically, they got the drum sounds right from the beginning, and then they give you the options within the program to take that and take it to the next level and create the exact sound that you're looking for. All right, so when you buy an E-kit, you get a module that has built-in samples. And most of the time, these samples are smaller files. They haven't been recorded super well just because of the fact they got to fit a bunch in there. And if they did it really well for every single one, they would be huge files and it would just be this complex process. You'd have to have a faster module. So it's normally not super high-end samples inside of a built-in module. That's why people use MIDI, and that's why people trigger samples. And so what we're talking about today, I'm actually learning a lot as I go because I haven't really used a bunch of samples in the past myself. In fact, this was kind of a learning process for me, which is why I was inspired to make this video to help you understand that a simple cable between your module and your computer or your interface can allow you to trigger a whole new world of sound samples for your kit. It really allows you to take a kit that might have cost $400 and make that sound like a $5,000 drum set in a top-of-the-line studio. And so that's what's really exciting about this. I'm going to show you what the Trivium drums package looks like. I'm going to show you some sound samples, my reactions to that, and kind of how the idea of one of these software instruments works for you, how you're able to hook up and how you're able to create amazing sounding samples played by your electronic kit through your computer. So let's check it out. Let me show you the Trivium drums package and let's play some more awesome sounding drums. All right, so as far as setup goes, there's different ways to do it. When I was at Sweetwater, that Roland kit I was playing on, I literally just hooked up a USB-B to USB-C cable from the module straight into my actual computer here, and then I set the input to The MIDI channel A is the Roland, and it was on channel 10 of MIDI channel A. So I just set it to MIDI channel 10A. In this particular situation, I'm using a MIDI cable between the Alesis Prime drum module over to the Universal Audio 476, and that is going to be the input for MIDI into my computer. So I'm setting my computer to the sound source input of the Universal Audio interface, and that is going to be what I set as the audio source on the actual contact player here. And so together, I am able to use the module here and its sensing of these drums to go through the interface into the computer and trigger via MIDI the different drums on here. And so the idea of MIDI is it is sending different notes. So if you were playing a MIDI keyboard, it would be like C1 and C2 and D1, and that's the kind of idea that it is sending into your digital audio workstation or into the contact player here. And for me, that is triggering different drums. And so if I hit the snare drum, it's triggering C1, and I've programmed the actual drum set over here to fire the snare drum when I hit C1. It's actually a pretty simple process, but understanding how it works can be a little complicated sometimes. So I wanted to explain that today. All right, so let's talk about the MIDI mapping process. So for the Trivium drums here, they have a built-in Roland map. So this worked right out of the box. I plugged in the USB and clicked Roland, and I was ready to play that kit at Sweetwater, the cheap kit I was showing you guys. With the Alesis Strata Prime, we don't have that, so we're gonna clear all, and we're gonna do custom mapping. And it's very simple. So let's just learn the toms real quick. So I'm gonna set tom 2 to my first one since I don't have 5 toms. I click that button. Boom, triggers it. Click this button, tom 5. All right, and then I want the snare drum right there. We're gonna do the kick drum. And this has the auto double kick, so when you're playing fast notes, it switches between the samples of a right and a left kick so that you don't end up with too robotic of a sound that's like triggering the same sample over and over again. It sounds really nice, especially when you're playing fast double kick. So the hi-hats here, I'm gonna trigger those. Let's see, what side do we want the ride on? We're gonna play the ride on the right side, so, and then the bell, and then the ride crash, got those set. So then we're going to like that. And this has an auto choke built into it for cymbals that can choke like the ones on the Alesis Strata Prime. And then I like playing with the China on this kit, so we're gonna make this the China. Now, there are all sorts of other nuances, different sounds, different things that you can trigger depending on how many drums you have on the kit. And now we are ready to go. Super simple. With the Trivium Drums package, you get the process sounds right out of the box, engineered in a way that sounds fantastic and you can use right away. But you also get access to the natural drum tones here. So this is natural. And then if you don't know exactly what you want to create, you can use the processed sounds that have all the effects and everything tuned by Jens Bogren, who just absolutely does a fantastic job with these samples. So check this out. As far as what you can do, you've got your mixer here, so you're able to change your individual levels on each of the different drums, cymbals. Then you have your master, you've got your pans so that you can create the exact pan that you want of the drum set. You also have the advanced panel here where you can change the amount of reverb and the amount of the different mics, the overhead, the room mics, and how that sounds, the bleed from the drums. So basically you've got your close mics And you've got your room mics and your overheads, and that allows a more natural full sound from the drums, especially with those 23-foot ceilings. Outside of that, you've also got your velocity adjustments so that you can change the way the drum reacts to the actual attack of your stick. So with a standard velocity, then we can make it so that you have to play harder to get those higher notes. That way, if you're a really heavy hitter, you can still have dynamics to your playing. You've also got a whole set of grooves and fills played by the incredible Alex Bent. So if you aren't a drummer, or if you just need some inspiration or want a quick sound to play guitar to, or to create a track to, you've got a bunch of awesome stuff in there from Alex Bent, different playback speeds as well. One of the coolest things about this setup is it works in the free Kontakt player. So everything I'm doing, I didn't pay any additional money for. The only cost would be adding the actual Trivium drums package for your kit. You don't have to buy Kontakt player. You don't have to buy some special Easy Drums or Superior drummer. It works with the free version of Kontakt player. Also, all of the shell samples in the Trivium drums pack come as Trigger 2 TCI and WAV files, so you can use them in Steven Slate drums or another trigger source if you decide you don't want to use the Kontakt player. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to play you out a little bit more on the Trivium drums. Make sure you click the link in the description below. Check out the kit, check out the sounds, and enjoy playing some incredible tones on your e-kit. Whether it's a cheap one or a nicer one, these samples are going to be so much fun. Thank you for watching. Play some drums.